This is episode 28, and this one is all about something that's near and dear to everybody's drama heart: staying in your lane, guys.
Right.
Like we got some stuff to kind of talk about later on, but I'm Tyler Willis. Tyler Willis Media Inc. is the new company name.
Yep.
Payton, what you got going on nowadays?
Yeah, so I'm still Payton Peoples and Company. I'm also incorporated though, but Keller Williams Realty Partners.
I'm Megan Mulvey with CrossCountry Mortgage, not incorporated. By myself. Well,
that's all right.
By yourself.
You do you, boo.
It was,
yes.
So just like a quick recap, guys, we got a lot that's been going on. School just started back here recently, so we're trying to get back into the swing of what our normal lives look like coming out of summer.
What is that even?
That's been
What is
what is normal?
Yeah.
So I have no idea nowadays.
Well, I feel like this is just crazy town anyway, because Tyler's wife's a teacher, and then Megan's oldest just started kindergarten. My two are both now in middle school. Like, I feel like we have all been riding some kind of traumatic roller coaster for the last week.
3 months.
Yes.
That's why your girl's still dressed like this today. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
At least I'm advertising Peach City.
There you go.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. But the craziness is, though, like, we all run our own businesses and we get to create our own schedules. But a lot changes when we go back to school. And, we got a whole new market that kind of starts rolling around. People think this is the time where it slows down, but to me, this is the time it ramps up, because people are now like, okay, now we got to get ready before like all the holidays.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you might have a couple of days off, but it's nothing like what people think it's like. So.
Yeah, it's like you have two different people, like two different types of people who are in the mindset when it comes to school. One is, I've got to get my house listed and I have to get out of my house before school starts, like to allow people to come in and be ready for their new school year. Then you have the other set that's like, nope, I got to use the summer to get myself ready to list my house once my kids are back in school, so that I can keep my house clean while my kids are not here. So
true.
I completely get both sides, but they are completely different types of people, and it is just craziness. So there is no downtime, because we go from the people who listed their house in May, to get their house sold by August, and then we jump right back into, like, because Tyler, didn't you say the other day that you had like a ton of people call you to book?
Yeah. In one day, I booked 14 shoots in one day. Yeah. And so it's just like, it's all getting ramped back up. Like, I think we legit had like 2 days
where my
like, phone did not call.
And
I was like, oh, the world's ending. And then I was like, oh, okay. But then, like, literally by the day 3, I think it was, because some schools started back on a Wednesday of last week, and then yesterday, like, we had like a full rollout, and I think it was like last Friday where my phone was like starting to buzz, and then yesterday it was just like blowing up. So I was like, "Oh, okay, we're back. We're back.
It's all right."
Yeah, that's how I was yesterday. Payton, it was the same way. I think for you with schedules or whatever. I was like, "Oh, it's back to school day. I'm gonna get them off, get things done, do the work I need to do, and like move on."
Nope.
I think I'm still charging my phone. Like, I had 27 phone calls yesterday from legitimate people wanting to borrow clients, new clients, agents. And I'm like, oh my God. Yep. Like, I was like, oh, what are we? And everybody send their kids back to school, and now we can take care of business, I guess.
Right.
So, yeah.
Pretty much.
And then today's the same. That's why I haven't changed.
It's okay.
Well,
it's okay.
It works right here.
Well, going down that same vein, like the last couple of days, there was some stuff that happened overseas with the stock market that affected ours, and then people thought like the rates were going to drop, the feds were going to do this, and then out of nowhere, Megan starts getting phone calls of like, agents are promising this, like. So that's where I want to kind of get to the meat of our conversations of like why people need to stay in their lanes if they don't know the lane that well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the big conversation this week has been already, obviously it's only Tuesday, but because of everything that happened last week with the market, the jobs report, the Fed, all of that in combination equaled yesterday to just blow up and rates increased, got worse, whatever you want to say it, however you want to say it, within 24 hours. At least with us, they did it twice. It could have been more. I don't know. I was paying attention after that. Because I was trying to calm people down.
Yeah, in the middle of your 27 phone calls.
Yeah. Right? And then I think I was texting you at one point. I was like, I'll call you later or text you in a bit. I'm like, I can't keep up.
Yep. Yeah.
And then, but then just on Friday, you had real estate agents that I saw on Facebook or social media or whatnot posting, rates are at 5.25% or 5.5%. And I'm like,
shut your mouth.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Like, there's a reason why we don't post rates, because not only would I get fired, I could get fined, I could get sued, I could get whatever. And there's so many things that go into a rate. Like, Payton in real estate, I don't even want to take your test. Like, there's crap.
I don't either.
Yeah, there's crap that you do that I don't even know, like how you know it, how you do it, whatever, contract stuff, client stuff, legal stuff, MLS listing stuff, like all the things I don't care to know, because I got enough crap, like 40 screens up right now. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm looking at. Probably have ADHD.
Yeah.
But that's me. Our son does, so what probably
it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine.
But at the same token, like, I don't go posting, the market, the real estate market, here is what specific.
Yeah. You don't, you're not going around saying like, oh, days on market's up or down. Like, oh, people should be, submitting more contracts or whatever. Like, it's frustrating because at least on ours. Yeah. It is very black and white. Like, and this is, I think, maybe where people get confused, because for our test, in order to get your license, you have to know a lot of mortgage stuff. You have to know a lot of law. But then the rules afterwards are, I'm so glad you know that. You are never allowed to talk about that again. Like, you are only allowed to talk about these things in your lane. And I think a lot of people just forget that part of, they're just like, no, remember I had to learn all that stuff?
Oh, I'm an expert now.
Right. Yeah. But I'm like, it stresses me out to try to figure out all the things that you have to know and handle and do and look at, and nope. So I don't pretend to know all the things that go into that. But the basics of understanding that somebody's credit score and their debt to income ratio and their down payment and all of those things are so unique to each buyer that right there, like, dictates a very large difference between what rates could be for people.
Yeah.
But then you've got all these people who maybe they had a lot of money, or maybe they're willing to like sacrifice some of their down payment to buy their rate down. Okay, now that also changes the game. But guess what we don't get to do? Go fucking tell people, like, oh, I got 5.5. No, if you want to say I got 5.5, then
they spent 20 grand doing that. Yeah.
Right. You better put an asterisk next to that shit and say, nope,
legally,
I had to pay
this is how I got it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it doesn't look
people
good.
Don't understand. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't look good for anybody. I'm
No.
like, out here looking at y'all like,
well, and that's the thing too, because then people are calling me, well, you don't have 5%? Like, I just saw it on Facebook. So-and-so is agent, and they said their lender could do it. I'm like, well, I can do it. You don't want to know.
Where's your money?
Us. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just like I mentioned earlier, like, even with tax advice, business owners or whatnot, or if they have a tax question about selling their property before the 2 years, like, I know the information, but am I going to get sued over giving you that information in case something changed in the past 2 days and I didn't realize it? No. I'm like, well, you need to contact your CPA, because I am not going to be liable for that. I got enough crap to pay for. Like, enough. Okay. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's the most like frustrating part of all of this, because especially if you're dealing with like first time home buyer or maybe it's been a long time since they bought a house and they don't remember all the ins and outs of everything. But then they see somebody that they know, like, and trust post on Facebook.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden it's like you're up against this huge battle again of trying to re-educate how this works. And then everybody's emotions are heightened and everybody's upset and then people are crying and then I'm crying and then the world is over at that
And
point.
nobody's
So
getting paid.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So I just, because, I know you saw, Megan, you saw it multiple times and you were like, oh my gosh, this is out of control. And then it was like, of course, because it got called out in our messages, that's all that I started seeing in mine. So it was like all these agents saying stuff. And I try really hard.
And one took me down after that. I was like,
yeah. Oop, jump scare. But I try really hard to like pay just enough attention to what's going on in the world to like not be completely out of the loop, but to also take everything with a grain of salt and be like, the world's ending. Cool. Let's check back with me in 48 hours. Let's see how
it'll change.
It'll change. So I don't like see the panic or a lot of the time just because I have to distance myself from it or I will lose it. But that was crazy. And I don't know if it was just because maybe it's been a minute since like rates changed at all.
I think so. Yeah. And last week it dropped quite a bit, but I think it was just everybody trying to get people excited and they just handle it correctly. But I mean, I get it. That's why I was like, I'm not trying to accuse anybody, any one person, anything. I mean, because I'm sure saw another one doing it and then because it was all the same posts. I'm like, y'all got it from Mortgage News Daily or whatever the website was. And insert Facebook story. So, I mean, I know the heart behind it was good.
Right.
Just,
trying to draw excitement and get people. I get that.
Then Monday happened and there I am trying to like save the world again.
Save the world. Nope, I did not sign up for this. What else are we talking about?
The funny part about it though, like if you really think about it at the end of the day, like let's kind of break it down for the people listening. You said there's multiple things that can contribute in to actually lower a rate. So you can buy down some points. Like what all can you, Megan, legally tell us? Like how can a rate be affected that way that we're giving the people some information and not just the drama side of it. So like some steps.
But it's not like steps. It's mainly ask me again where I don't pull my wig. You can see myself. I was like, oh, you can see that. Fine.
You're fine. You're fine. That's what editing is for.
On our end. I'll ask it again. So kind of going along with that. So like, let's give the people some practical advice. So you're working with your agent and if they don't have a lender that they've partnered with that actually get to know them, like what are some things that can affect an interest rate? Like they buy down points. So what the hell does that even mean? Like, let's kind of give them some practical advice on what all can affect the rate.
So there's a lot. Short answer. Otherwise, it's like a 20-minute conversation I can have. But that's why I like Ian or like. But I mean, there's a lot that can go into play with rates. So mortgage rate. But I mean, there's loan type. There's conventional, non-conventional. I mean, it's called non-QM. I mean, traditional, non-traditional credit. I mean, there's all kinds of different options that you can have. I mean, I think we have over 100 something different types of loans programs. I mean, and so literally like, that's why when Payton asked me one day, she's like, can you do these? I'm like, I'm pretty sure we can, but let me sweat it.
Let me pull out the book and check.
Quick.
But I mean, there's loan type, there's credit score, there's down payment, there's loan amount, there's, oh gosh, what am I missing? I mean, all kinds of stuff. Just trying to think of everything else. Like there's literally so much that goes into a rate that we quote. That's why when somebody's like, what's your rate? I'm like, tell me your story. Like, what are we looking at? And then I'm like, well, I can do an estimate for you, based on what you've given me, but I'm not just going to go quote a rate because it's not going to be what they want to hear. They're just going to go to another lender and be like, well, so Megan gave me this rate.
Right.
Like, what's
ultimately, like, at the end of the day, it's not ethical. Like,
no.
to just throw numbers out there.
Yeah. And that's why I like to educate people about everything that goes into it. I mean, anything from like down payment, like I said, to credit score, loan type, the value, whatever that they have going on. I mean, it's going to reflect in that rate quote, whether they're a first-time home buyer, not a first-time home buyer.
Whether or not they want to pay a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year
Or
mortgage.
15, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, an ARM, whatever, government loan, non-government loan. So, I mean, you're looking at all kinds of things instead of just, we can, I mean, I always ask them, well, what rate do you want? Like, and if we can get there, let's find out how we can get there. I can show you exactly what you need to do. Or we can look at reality and see, what actually works with this situation.
Yeah, because then you're also talking about like, okay, do I need to make a 6-month plan? Do we need to revisit this in 6 months? Do I need to work on some credit stuff? Do I need to save some more money? Do I need to have a bigger down payment? Like, all of those things play a part in this. And it could be, the conversation could be, okay, well, we're doing it now. We have to do it now. So we're going to have to pay XYZ to do it now. Or if you have the flexibility to wait 6 months or whatever and do these things, then your scenario looks a little different. But it's so specific to every single person. That's why I'm always like, my first question to every client that I work with is, have you spoken with a lender yet? Because I don't give a shit what Zillow told you your budget was. Like, that means nothing. I need to know what a lender told you could. Yeah. A legitimate lender. Yeah. Told you could spend. And then we'll start the fun part of actually going and looking at the houses. But it's just so specific. And then the other side of it too is that my quote, if you're not watching this and you're only listening, favorite part is when we get to the closing table and the lender that they chose to work with didn't explain to them that they were buying down their rate. And so like it wasn't a surprise that the money was being spent. They just didn't know how it was being spent. And then they have the reality check of, oh, well, when you go to file your tax returns next year, like, you have to tell them that you bought that rate down. Like, and then they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, conversations that should have, maybe that's our next topic. Conversations that should have been had before you reach the table. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit. It's just so frustrating because that kind of stuff can make a big deal when somebody goes to file their taxes. So, and people don't know. And they're trusting the people that they're working with to help them do the right thing. And then they find out, oh, I spent 20 grand buying down a rate. Cool. What does that mean?
That's why I always do a worksheet with them, buy it down or don't buy it down. If they want to have that conversation.
Right.
Or we think it'll be better for them, like, depending on the situation.
Yeah. Because nobody's situation is the same.
No, not one person. Not one.
That's wild. This is why real estate is fun. And if you would like to become a real estate agent and you need a fantastic coach to walk you through this program and these steps, you should probably just talk to Payton.
Yeah, you just give me a call. If you want to be a mortgage lender, just call me. It'll tell you just stay away.
I laughed at that because the other day, you know how YouTube and all this stuff sends you these little fun articles to watch, and there, one popped up with the fastest growing trend in real estate is to become a mortgage lender, and you can grow a business and make 6 figures. And I sent it to Christian, and Christian legit just wrote back and said, "Fuck that article."
Yeah. They were talking to us like whenever your NAR, like the new laws came out or whatever. Yeah. And we're like, anybody who wants to be licensed as a real estate officer, let us know. There was not one damn person in that.
Not one.
Barry was like, Megan, you'd be great in person. And I looked at him and I said, no, Barry, No, sir.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. I already go crazy enough. Like, still haven't showered today.
Yeah.
And like, I don't need more.
You don't need more peopling. You can do the peopling from your house.
No, literally, it's like the third time today I've had to charge this stupid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't
God.
need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why, people, we named this one "Stay in Your Lane"
That's correct.
because we know where our lanes are. We know where our guardrails are, and we like to stay right in the middle of all
Sure
that
do.
safety cushion.
Yep.
So, oh goodness. Well, guys, that wraps up. This is a quick one. This is
Short to the
big
point.
takeaway. Big takeaway. If you're not working with a local agent that has a fantastic relationship with a lender, then you need to find somebody else.
Yep.
Because they're going to be your best team in this entire transaction.
That's correct.
Or use us, you can be entertained.
Yeah. Look,
That's
how much
right.
fun you're going to have. Damn.
Just don't snow me.
That's right.
Just don't.
No,
Right.
just
It's
go
okay.
ahead and stay
At least
5
with
feet
Megan,
back.
you typically don't meet her face
Yeah.
to face till closing, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
showers for that. So
Yeah,
fine.
well, that's right.
Sometimes.
I put on makeup,
Oh, but
make myself.
Yeah.
that's hilarious. Well, that wraps up episode 28. Stay in your lane. Guys, every Tuesday we have a new episode, and you can either listen to it or look at our pretty faces right here on our YouTube channel. But anyways, guys, it's been a fantastic one. Stay tuned. We got lots of guest episodes coming up pretty soon. So y'all stick around and see who comes on here and makes us smarter.
Yes, that's right.
Stay
Can't wait.
salty. There we go.
Stay salty.
yeah.
Put our
Oh,
new
nice.
hashtag.
Yeah.
That's right. Cheers.
All right, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, guys. Love you
Bye.
guys. See y'all later. Peace out.